Hello again. On the tube this morning, I picked up a copy of the free newspaper, the Metro, and found this alarming question on the front page. Are you ageist? That's all we need, a new kind of ism to be accused of. It seems that at least a third of people hold ageist beliefs, which as an old person myself, I feel obliged to deplore in no uncertain terms. It was, in a way, delightfully apropos, though, because I have been observing some pretty odd comments in my videos over the last 12 hours or so, which alerted me to something which is almost inconceivably odd. Well, it would be inconceivably odd if it involved normal, sane and well-balanced individuals, but I am very much inclined to doubt if even the family and friends of the people who are now going on about old people in the comments here would describe these folk in such terms. Last night, one of those who comes here to be offended began posting a series of random comments, each containing the phrase, Simon, admirer of Harold Shipman, brackets, Webb. This was peculiar, but no more peculiar than some of the things which this person says here. I thought no more about it, and then this morning another of that crew, the fellow who called himself Bob Wilkins, left a comment asking me if I thought that God could see what was on Substack. Now that's a peculiar question. I'm fairly sure that an omnipotent deity would be able to read everything on Substack, even the stuff behind a paywall. It was then that it dawned on me what this might be about, and later he made a longer comment which confirmed my suspicions, saying, I see that Simon is still refusing to answer the very serious questions that Jay Harak and I have posed to him concerning his attitude to the euthanasia of elderly people and the use of Nazi ideology in one of his latest articles. I have no idea who J or H Harak might be, nor what serious questions he and Bob Wilkins might have posed. But it's fairly clear to me what they are alluding to, and it confirms what I have often wondered about some of these types, which is that they must live in a different world to the rest of us. Let me explain. 3 or 4 years ago, I was writing a book for which I thought erroneously that I had a publisher lined up. It was a parody of a self-help book, and it was called The Way of the Psychopath. You know, the way of the Sufi and so on, the way of the ninja and all the rest of them. In the event, it was destined not to be published, but in November 2020 I read out a few chapters of it on this channel, and people generally seem to find it amusing. In the description to this video I give a link to one of these videos in which I read out a chapter called What Shall We Do with the Old Folk? It is an extravagant fantasy, and I thought that even for a Juvenalian satire, perhaps it was a bit much, but the people commenting here seemed to enjoy it. Not one person complained, I might mention, you can look through the comments, nor did anybody think I was seriously calling for the euthanasia of old people. Other chapters of the book which I read out here were in praise of narcissism and so on. Although I've had scores of books published, I still have some for which, for various reasons, were not, including a few novels and also some satirical stuff. When I began writing on Substack, a website for authors, a few months ago, in fact just over a month ago, middle of December, it seemed the perfect opportunity to publish some of these books on there. You know what hack writers are like for recycling their material. So it is that I've been serialising a psychological thriller which I wrote years ago, and also extracts from The Way of the Psychopath. They have been quite well received. As I am sure that viewers are well aware, there's a good deal of debate about the fact that we are now an ageing society, and this causes problems. For example, old people who cannot be discharged from hospital because there's no appropriate accommodation for them, so-called bed blockers and so on. I suggested that a program of euthanasia would be a way of solving this problem, and I suggested that Harold Shipman, the man who murdered hundreds of old people, was on the right lines in that respect. I need hardly say that not one of those commenting either on the reading I gave on this channel of that chapter, nor any of those reading it on Substack, took it as a serious proposal. Everybody treated it as a bit of fun, a bit of light-hearted humour. Judging by the comments now being made here, though, it appears that at least 2 and possibly 3 of those who come on here to argue with me have now read the thing and taken it at face value, which, to be candid, I find little short of astounding. I can see that I shall have to start posting a disclaimer on the chapters of the novel that I'm currently posting on Substack, or before I know it, I shall be accused of confessing to mass murder there. The novel is about a serial killer, you see. I'm guessing that when I started on Substack, some people expected me to begin saying shocking and distasteful things, and when I didn't, they decided to seize on this and pretend that they were shocked by it. I may, of course, be misjudging them, and perhaps they really were shocked by this humorous writing. If so, it just goes to show what bloody fools there are in the world. Anybody who wishes to see what has caused such profound shock and can click on the link to the video from this channel, which I give in the description, and hear for themselves. See how many of you think that I am advancing Nazi ideology and putting forward a proposal for mass euthanasia. The thriller I mentioned is being serialised on Substack, and you can read that for nothing. I give a link to my Substack account in the description to this video.